Welcome to Michelle's on a Mission, a podcast all about helping you become your best version. We'll discuss personal development, education, self-love, self-care, and more.
It's honest, it's informative, it's helped me grow as a person.
The mission is greatness, the journey starts here. And now here's your host, Michelle.
Hey everybody, welcome back to an episode of Michelle's on a Mission. And so today is a very, very special podcast because as you see, I have my sister with me. And this is my sister Bianca Houston. She is from Atlanta, Georgia.
From Flint.
Originally from Flint. She is a Flint girl. But she lives in Atlanta. And today is very, very special because we're going to talk about when we first met. It's so crazy, y'all. We actually met on 23&Me. Bianca sent me a message December 29th of 2018. And why don't you start by telling everybody how you felt when you were crafting this message?
Oh my gosh. When I was crafting that message, I was shaking in my boots. Because it was totally new to me, totally unexpected. When I saw the information on 23&Me, I'm confused because I'm an only child. So I'm like, why is this thing telling me I have a half sister? Not possible. My daddy's deceased. So where does this other child come from? You know?
Right.
So in crafting that message, all these things go through your head. Like, what if this person knows me already? What if they don't? What if I offend them? What if they, think this is a scam? Yeah. Like, what if they think I'm a stalker? I'm crazy? Like, what if I'm rejected? If this is real? Like, it's so many things that go through your head because, it's something you've never seen before, something you've never experienced before. So I'm just like, I didn't know what the heck to think.
Yeah.
So.
And it's crazy because I think both of us took the test for different reasons. But I don't think either one of us took the test like looking for siblings, which is really crazy. Like for me, I wanted to take the test because I knew that I wanted to travel to Africa someday. And like I was really trying to pinpoint what tribe or what my ethnicity really was. And so why did you take it originally?
The truth behind me taking the test, because it's not exactly why I said I took the test. But the truth was for me to solidify if my dad really was my dad.
Okay.
That was the underlying truth. What I told everybody initially was, and that was a part of it too, I wanted to know my family tree. So in my mind, because I've never taken one of the DNA tests before, I'm like, well, I'm going to take it and it's going to tell me who all I'm linked to and who my great aunts and great uncles and all, I'm thinking it's going to connect us. I didn't know that everyone had to take it for the connection. Yeah. So I took it for that reason. I did want to know the family tree, but the underlying was like, I had doubts the past several years and I wanted to know if my doubts were accurate.
And it's so crazy, because we often talk about how much you favor your dad. So, like, where they're just like, I don't know, because I think we both had that thing where in the back of our mind, if something kind of stick, even though it's a light thing, we always kind of revisit it. And so do you think maybe that was what it was? Like there was just a little...
Absolutely. And I don't know how many people.
Because my sister is beautiful, and I want y'all to be able to see her face completely.
I could probably. I don't know. But I like. It's strange because for me, I had many questions about my dad. Like, I didn't, and a lot of this stuff I never share with my family, but. My dad's chocolate. My dad's tall. The only thing I saw in me from my dad was our curly hair, but everything else, I'm like, okay, I look just like my mom. I don't really look like my dad. I didn't like a lot of my dad's family, like they have these high cheekbones and these certain type of eyes, and I always used to be looking like, I don't look like nobody. But of course, the more you grow up and you grow around people, and everybody like, oh, y'all look just alike. Right, so people would say that, and I'll be like, oh, okay, well, maybe I just can't see it. Yeah. But, and there was a lot of other characteristics that I was just like, it would just be that thing like some just ain't, it's not matching up for me. Right. But I never truly had any doubts per se, like real doubts, until my dad passed away. And then some things happened there that made me kind of raise my eyebrow a little bit. Like, was okay, maybe I'm not that crazy. But that was in what, 2006.
Oh, wow. Okay. So it took a while before you.
Yeah, it took a while before I decided to really do some digging other than just asking.
Yeah.
You know, because asking wasn't getting me anywhere.
Gotcha. I understand. And so it's so crazy because when I got Bianca's message, I was like, yeah, I knew it. I knew I had more siblings out there. And I guess it takes y'all to know my dad for me to like really be adamant in the fact that, yeah, I knew we had other siblings. So besides Bianca and myself, we actually have 2 more sisters and a brother. So there are 5 of us. So she didn't just find out she had another sister. She found out she had like a whole slew of siblings. Right. And so I had just been like overly excited ever since. I found out she was there. Bianca's the middle of us. So there's 2 above, 2 below. And it was like, you're the bridge that has connected us together.
That's so crazy.
And I love it. And so one of the things that has been like super fun about Bianca and I's relationship is that like once we connected, we started Facebook stalking each other. Right. And we have like so many characteristics and similarities between the 2 of us.
So many parallels. It's crazy.
Yes. And so we would like find pictures where we had kind of posed the same or we looked similar. And one of the neatest things about the 2 of us is that we are both authors. And we both published a book in the same year. Right. And so y'all have heard me talk about my book on the podcast. So I'm going to allow her to talk about her book. Oh my gosh. So let's talk about it.
Ooh, let's talk about my book, which this whole story made everything that much more interesting.
Yes.
Because my book, which I published in 2018, July of 2018, before I knew any of this, because if that was in July, I sent the message to Michelle in December. So it was before. And the book I had been writing since 2006, maybe earlier.
Yeah.
But it's called Someone to Call Daddy. So I wrote the book after my best friend and I, Crystal, we had this conversation in college. We were talking about our relationships, as you do often in your lifetime, and trying to figure out what was the issue. Like, why was we having all these tacky relationships? You know? And you look outward, you look inward, you have those discussions, and she and I ended up unpacking a lot of things, and both of us realized we didn't have the relationships with our fathers that I guess we would have liked to have had, you know?
Right.
Because not to say there wasn't a relationship, it just wasn't what, and I'm gonna speak for myself, it wasn't what I expected it to be or wanted it to be. So that became like this epiphany, like, oh, well, maybe our relationships are so sorry because we don't have that foundation with our fathers, with our dads. So originally she and I were gonna like do a dual book, and then I just kind of end up, well, you know, it got deep. I'll say that. When you get to dig in and you start looking, it's like, oh, I don't know if I want to really share this, you know? Right. You know, so it got deep. But ultimately, it was one of those things that I could never, like, let go of. So it's a lot of things they say, you know, God gives you different gifts and you don't use it, he'll take it away.
Correct.
So I had another epiphany, like, this is one thing that God has never taken. Like every couple of years, it would like this book would just be somewhere, some kind of shape or form in my head. Like, okay, this is like 10 years later. Why am I still thinking about this book? Right. But I'm still thinking about this book because I'm still going through these tumultuous relationships, you know? So I always have more material to add to the book. You know, my perception has changed since I first started writing the book, because originally it was on some male bashing, it wasn't anything positive to take away from the book.
Right.
But
like, this is what they do to us,
Right,
and
right.
I'm gonna need everybody to know because I'm about to expose your ass.
It was so immature. It was so immature, but it grew into something that became a powerful lesson, something that I could learn from, something that I can take away from. And what I basically did was just wrote about the relationships that I had that I learned from. So I start the book talking about the relationships that I saw my mother had with different men, how that affected me, and talk about my relationship with my dad in the book, and even my pops, who was a huge part of my life, because he came along when I was in high school, and that was my pops. My dad was around, but my pops was involved.
Gotcha.
So I talk about that relationship a little bit, and then I go into my personal relationships, and at the end of the book is kind of me explaining what I took from all of this. And even, I'm putting myself on blast too, talking about the decisions I made, some of them good, some of them not so good, and it's very real.
Yeah.
It's
It was
very
a very good book. I couldn't wait
Thank
to
you.
get it when I found out. I was like, oh, my sister Arthur too. I'm about to get this book. And I think like one of the cool things is that even though we were talking about two totally different things, maybe some of our quote unquote daddy issues were the foundation actually for both of our books. I was going through a really crazy time in my life, and you know I think both of us had a point of self-reflection in our books, like, okay, we did this, and like there were some outside factors, but we're gonna own up to our little piece in that too. So I really did, I enjoyed your book, and I did think that it kind of like put, like it kind of meshed everything together, like, oh shit, we got the same dad in there. She wrote a book about daddies, and so I loved it, and I love us. I just think it's so. I love us. I think we are awesome. I think we're awesome people. Allen kids are thugs. I do want y'all to know that. And we are all crazy, but we are all fun. We are all loving and
down to earth.
Yes, very down to earth. Like, we immediately clicked. I don't think there was ever a nervous thing. I was a little nervous when I got to LAX when we first. So our first time actually meeting. We flew to California March 2019, and it was my first time going to our dad's place,
to Lancaster.
Yeah. And our brother Jason met us there, and we really had a good time.
Yeah.
I was very nervous at first because I was like, okay, is she gonna accept me? Like, oh, even though we had talked, it was just that face-to-face encounter. Like, okay, what is it gonna be like? Are we gonna gel well? Texting is one thing, but when you're in a person's physical presence. But I think that trip was amazing to me. All of it,
It was everything. It was everything, and especially for me, like you said, and I would tell people, it was the weirdest thing because you were so accepting out the gate. Like she said, she was excited. Like I did not expect that response. I didn't know what to expect, but I was thinking she's gonna be like, "Well, who are you and who your mom and blah blah." She's like, "Oh my God, I know it. I knew it." And I was like, "Okay, girl." Like, and everything. I mean, like, for me, I don't know if I've really experienced that, maybe once or twice in my life, where you have an instant connection with somebody you've never even known,
right?
And even through our conversations. Of course I was nervous too in meeting you and meeting everybody else, but I still already felt like it wasn't going to be too much because we had that connection.
Right.
So it was a nervous excitement for me to kind of just put the face with the, the conversation and the vibe, and just kind of feel your aura. So, I mean, that when she came through them doors at the airport, and I'm sitting here like, I ain't gonna cry. I'm not, she the oldest.
Right.
So I know she gonna be gangster and I'm gonna be gangster and we gonna be all right.
Like, we lost our G for like 15 seconds, I think. Then we kind of wiped it up. Like, okay, back to being a G. Like, we good now. We straight now.
Get it together.
So it has been an amazing experience, and I love to tell the story because a lot of people, I think, are afraid to do the 23&Me test simply for this reason, because they are afraid they're gonna find something in their family tree that they were not looking for.
Yeah.
However, in this new day and age with technology, like things are not hidden like they were a long time ago in our great grandma time and stuff. Things are different, and so I'm happy. I'm very happy about it. Yeah. Like, I'm still saying we probably got one more out there. I'm thinking, I don't know, but hey, if we do, I'm not gonna be surprised at all. I'll be like, yeah, that's Alan Kidd right there. Come on to the group. Come on to the group. Yeah. So I'm very excited. Yeah. I don't know if I said this at the beginning, but you are my first interview person. All of my podcasts have been solo dolo, so you are the first. And I just want to thank y'all for joining us. We didn't want to be too long. I like to not spend too much time because I'm trying to keep your attention, but I just had to see my beautiful sister while she's here, and we didn't have to do it on a Zoom. We did it right here in person. So thank y'all for joining us, and I hope to see you again on the next podcast.
Thank y'all. Bye.
Thank you for listening to Michelle's on a Mission. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. For more information and updates, make sure to check us out at Gold Crown Creations on Facebook and Instagram, or reach out to us directly at www.goldcrowncreations.org. Until next time, take care.